Hey, all right. You're listening to the Dead Man's Tome podcast with your host, Mr. Deadman, co-host S.K. Barrett. Tammy G is out tonight. And then we also have our amazing guest, Wile E. Young. How's it going?
It's going good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. Now, we got to do a sponsor real fast. The show is sponsored in part by Corona, the coronavirus. And they should be some Corona beer right here. I don't know if this is a good time to do this, but my lawyer's telling me that this is not a good plug and that Corona did not officially give my permission to say this. But, so, yeah, Corona.
Corona is not responsible for coronavirus.
Right. Not at all. But I gotta tell you, man, with that coronavirus, like, the only thing I can think of is, the first thing that came to mind was beer? Like, what? Like,
Beer and virus do not go together. No. Bad naming. Bad CDC.
right. I wonder if the beer company's kind of pissed off about that. You think they're pissed about that?
Could be. But you gotta wonder if there was these two guys having a beer after work at the CDC, you know. What the hell are we gonna call this new virus? And somebody holds up his beer and shows it to the other guy and goes, brilliant.
Corona. I mean, come on. They could have called it the Kung Flu. I mean, Kung Flu. I mean, come on. Come on. It was right there. But Corona. So they could get like a cease and desist letter for like using their brand? Is that how this works?
No, because they used Corona has other meanings. So
Okay. Well, the cartel would not be happy.
Unless they called it Corona beer virus, then that might be a problem.
Yeah. Speaking of the coronavirus, guys, like, do y'all know what's going on about that? Like, what the hell?
All over the place.
They
over.
got new cases in Chicago now.
Mm-hmm.
Thought I heard earlier that they found one in Raleigh as well.
Yeah, and up the road from me in Snohomish County. And you know what? just let's just
Not eat bad soup?
let's just shut down that whole direction of travel.
Yeah. China? No one go to
Yeah.
China. No one leave China. I think that's what they're trying to do. You know what? They should just do a travel ban right now. Just no one's going in or out of China.
No travel to or from China.
Mm-hmm.
That'll really cramp the style of the Chinese spies, though.
Yeah. But hey, they're even quarantining their own cities. I mean, they have over 23 million people under lockdown. Like, what? They quarantine cities because there's and this is why many people are speculating that the number that China is giving is totally off. You know, right now there's an article I'm reading. Yeah.
It's a communist country. They're fucking lying. That's all they do.
Right?
They don't know how to tell the truth.
Exactly.
Next, we're going to be saying there is no virus.
Right? I think that's what they're trying to say in the beginning. Oh, there's nothing wrong here. Oh, just a few people are sick. You know, it's just like the SARS. We'll get through this. Oh.
And it's a total coincidence that our two biological facilities for doing bioweapons research just happen to be in Wuhan.
Right? That's the crazy thing. When I heard about that on a live stream on YouTube, I think on Mr. Medicare's stream, I was like, is that real? No way. There's just I think a level 4 biosafety research facility in Wuhan. I think you said 2. There's another one?
Yeah, I believe there are 2 in that town.
Holy hell, that means even and it's damn, you're just that sounds like something from a comic book. That sounds like something from like a movie or whatever. You know, it's like, you have that facility, and I think we're like 20 miles away. That's when the the that's supposed to be the center, the epicenter of where it broke out. That's crazy.
Right.
Coincidence, huh?
There's one guy who thinks that it's so by the way, it's internationally illegal to work on bioweapons, offensive bioweapons. Now that doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but everybody's agreed to say that they aren't doing it. Right. I guess that's what the treaties say. You can work on, like vaccines and antidotes and shit like that. So countries have really, really scary shit in their bioweapons labs to work on defenses.
Yeah.
And, maybe a little gets used for other things. But the speculation from this Israeli specialist is that maybe somebody got infected in the lab and didn't know it and then just walked out.
Yeah, that could be. That's what I was thinking. Because if it started at the market, then it'll make sense that an employee checked out, went on break. I don't know what they do over there. But he left the facility, went to go get some bat soup, and then sneezed on someone. And then you get Resident Evil. I mean, it's crazy, man. Some of the videos and footages. I mean, you've seen this, right, Wiley? Like, you've seen the clips of people just dropping?
Absolutely. It's terrifying.
It is. It's I think
everybody's been comparing it to The Stand, Resident Evil. I was like, are you not scared of that Planet of the Apes? Because that's how the new ones all started.
Right. That's right. I saw the Stand references too. Yeah, man, it's.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Here's how you know that it wasn't. The Chinese didn't do it on purpose, and here's how you can tell, and that is because the Chinese have a huge, and I mean, they have a problem with single males that is on a scale that you just can't even imagine. Their single child policy has resulted in a massive imbalance between males and females in the country. And so they've got literally hundreds of millions of males who have zero chance of ever getting married.
Right.
So if they were ever going to develop and leak out a virus that would kill people, it would be targeted just at their male population.
Can they do that? Maybe that's what they're trying to do. I don't know. Man.
Now we're going to that why the last man.
And I know a joke about this because it's like, what do you do in this situation? I mean, you could be afraid. Of course, am I afraid? I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. But I hear they're supposed to be working on a vaccine, but it might take months, maybe a year. They don't even know what it really is, right? That's what I heard. They're like, did it come from a bat? Did it come from a snake? Where did it come from?
Well, see, here's one of the things is that if it came from a lab, they might be able to identify that in the DNA.
Interesting.
Or at least have clues that it was, I'm not going to say man-made, but man-manipulated.
Hey, if it turns out that it's man-made, can we sanction China? I mean, we don't trust Iran with nukes. Should we trust China with biosafety facilities that are Chinese knockoff of what they really should be? I mean, I'm just speculating here. I'm just shooting ideas,
I think if it turns out that there's any kind of evidence that it came from their labs, the whole country will just crumble. There will be so many fucking sanctions, and even without official sanctions, nobody will buy anything from China after that, and they'll just cave in on themselves.
Man, Oh,
The
shit.
biggest twist of all is when they could find out it came from space.
Oh my god, that would be crazy, right? Because not too long ago on this same show and other shows as well, and then we talked about UFOs. Like the military has confirmed that they do see UFOs. They're not saying it's from like aliens or space or whatever, but the speculation.
That is not what they confirmed.
No.
Jesse.
They confirm UFOs. They confirm UFOs.
No, they confirmed that a video of an unidentified object.
There's
was
military
legitimate.
personnel. There's military personnel that have confirmed that they've seen unidentified flying objects, and they're like, "What is this stuff?" And they can see it, and they reported it. I mean, there's even they even have the.
That's different.
But
that's different. Pilots have been seeing unexplained phenomena for decades, going all the way back to World War II and what they called Foo Fighters.
Yeah,
that's not the same as the military saying, "Yeah, we have UFOs."
No, they're not really saying, "Yeah, we have it," but yeah, they've seen this stuff. My point is, they speculate it could be China, could be could be Russia, and be like, where'd they get that technology? What's going on? What if China did get that technology? What if they did?
No, it's us.
No?
I guarantee you, it's us.
Oh man.
It's our own internal secretive developments that are not even being explained to other branches.
So you're telling me China didn't do any crazy research for aliens and get this crazy virus? Is that what you're telling me? Because I think they got some crazy. They did some research on aliens. Maybe.
What does alien viruses have to do with UFOs?
Well, they have to come down somehow. I don't know. I mean,
meteors.
Well, that's a one-way traffic.
Didn't you read Andromeda Strain?
Yeah, good point. Good point. Oh man,
it doesn't have to be intentional, you know.
Yeah.
It just confirms my theory that everything sounds better when you put space in front of it.
It does. It's space. It's
hey,
space,
you want
man.
a rock? No, you want a space rock? Oh, hell yeah!
I like that. I like that idea. Okay.
Space car, space Godzilla, space Dr. Pepper. Anything you say, it sounds better with space in front of it.
Space Force. Space Force.
Right? You know, it kind of pisses me off that Trump's getting so much shit about the Space Force when, honest to God, in a few years, we're going to be really glad we have that.
We would hope we have it, right?
And not to mention, every time you say Space Force, like an 80s cartoon jingle comes on in my mind, you know. Space Force.
It's like right? Johnny Quest or something.
All right.
Johnny Quest in space.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That'd be good. All right. So, hey, Wiley, man, it's been a while since you've been on. I think last time you were on was like last year, right?
Yeah. What was that? February, something like that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact date, but so what's new with you, man? What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. It has been a crazy, awesome year. That's all I can say. Yeah. I went from having a handful of short stories published. Now I have my debut novel come out in April of that year, March somewhere. March, April was my debut novel, and then I've got 2 more coming out this year.
For sure. Date that is seared in your memory.
Yes. Honestly, it jumped around so much at the time. But we're going to do it in April. Then it became March, and then I think Amazon actually released it a week early from that on accident. They said, oh, screw it, let's just go with that.
Right. Okay.
At least they had it to release. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, I think last time you were on, I think you were talking about what In Hell Follows, right? That's the short story.
Yeah.
You had a short story in there?
Yeah. That was The Day and the Hour. That was a good one.
Yeah, I got to take a moment to plug that book once again, because that is a great collection right there. It's done well. And Hell Follows.
For all of the writers and aspiring writers who may be listening now and in the future, tell us what it's like to actually physically hold your own book in your hands.
It's probably the best feeling that you can actually have at that point after years and years of working to get to that.
Does it make it does it feel like worthwhile now? Because you got you can hold it and smell it and thumb the pages and
absolutely. It's displayed on my bookshelf pretty prominently for no reason at all whatsoever. And occasionally, I'm walking by, I'll take it off the shelf and just hold it and look at it for a minute before putting it back.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have that. It's like you see right there, you accomplished something. And by the way, in Hell Follows, let me just put this out there for everyone who doesn't. This came out January 2019, right? It's still doing amazing. It's still ranking like a top 200 for Kindle horror anthology. Sales.
We've had several contributors to that on the show.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And lots of good comments and reviews and stuff. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wrath James White on that. Chris Miller. Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff.
I'm actually sending the publisher a message real quick about something he told me. I'm seeing if I can get some confirmation from him.
Okay.
But on the other hand, after Ain't Hell Followed, when Catfish in the Cradle came out, like when I go over to we'll go over to a friend's house, have dinner, and I'll see it on there, and I always have to take it off the shelf and then thumb through it because there's two editions. There's one that has a different font that had a bunch of typo mistakes in it that got past the copy editor, and they were fixed. And when it was put back out again, it has a different font for the chapter headings. Now I'm like, oh, you got the super special edition with all the typos.
Right.
Yeah.
You can never get that book again.
And that stuff happens too. Those sort of slip ups. It even happens with like like even the traditional publishing. They make mistakes too. So, yeah, that stuff happens. But it's good that it was caught and they were able to, fix that. But tell us about Catfish in the Cradle.
Now, though, give you the elevator pitch I gave everybody. It was Creature from the Black Lagoon meets Rosemary's Baby.
Whoa.
So he
crazy.
So he's like the mom?
Dad.
Like the mom of the baby? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's good.
But
I'm glad someone decided to really stick it to him because he looked like he was really wanting to be a mom right there. I think that was his problem.
At the very end, that was the whole thing about that. That was obviously a date that went bad when her ex-boyfriend showed up at the end of that movie. But it's funny because I said that book. I grew up in this town. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called Uncertain, Texas. No joke.
Uncertain?
Uncertain is this town.
Uncertain. Like
uncertain.
Why don't
anywhere
you
near Truth or Consequences, New Mexico?
Is that
because that seems like a sister city arrangement just waiting to happen?
Is that Tijuana? Oh, Taiwan. I'm thinking China. Is that Tijuana right there? Tijuana's like no consequences, right?
Something like that.
I'm not following you, Jesse.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. So what happens here? So the Gill Man or the creature from the Black Lagoon, he's the baby in the cradle.
Don't want to give away too much, but just he's a weird kid. This kid is weird. That when he's raised by his grandfather, the main character, and this kid, is obsessed with eating worms in the backyard. Looks at a fish hook like he'd love to bite it. Those kind of things. The grandfather starts noticing all kinds of weird stuff about him when he was just kind of dumped on his doorstep, and it gets worse from there. Like most everything I write.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Now you don't want to give out too much. That's all right. That's all right. But any sort of challenges or hurdles did you have to go through to get this book written?
Believe it or not, this one flowed very, very easily. Mainly because I set it in this area I grew up in. Uncertain, and it has a real atmosphere to it that I think makes up I really pumped into it, show my love for the area and the love for the book itself. And I wrote lots of people I knew into it, lots of places that I've been to. Like all the locations there are real, except for where the climax takes place, because I found out where I wanted to set it had a really stupid name.
What's that?
Wayne Doodle Pass.
But,
that's
a fantastic name.
But it's a real name,
God.
right? Is that a real place?
It's a real place on the river that is there at Uncertain, and it's called Wayne Doodle Pass. I was like, yeah, what's that area with the bend there in the river with those channel markers? Oh, I need to look that up. And I looked it up. I was like, oh, never mind. I think I can embellish it for once right here.
You didn't want to go with Wayne Doodle?
Yeah, they're like the climate, everything that our plot hinges on will take place at Wayne Doodle.
But it sounds.
It wasn't
funny.
ominous enough. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. All pitching goes out. Wayne Doodle enters it.
Like Death Water. Like what did he turn into? Death Water?
I honestly, at this point, don't remember what I.
Corona. That might be good. Okay. So you did some research on this. You actually got a location, a real location that you kind of wrote it to. Now, I take it you like urban legends, right?
Absolutely.
All right. What's your favorite Texas urban legend? You got one?
Oh yeah, Falk Monster for sure.
Who?
The what?
The Falk Monster, Fouke.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Technically that's Falk, Arkansas, but it's like you ever heard that movie, The Legend of Boggy Creek?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what that movie's based off of, is the Falk Monster. And I grew up 15 minutes away from that town.
Huh.
So it's just like a Texas, Arkansas Bigfoot kind of thing.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it a Bigfoot type creature?
Yep.
It's so weird. Every region has a Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm. We have guests on that try to explain that too, because Bigfoot teleports. They use portals,
and they need large amounts of land to remain elusive in.
Yeah.
They playfully bound into out of focus cameras.
Mm-hmm. They shapeshift. They use portals, and people say this with a straight face. I'm just like, okay, and I'll take it. I'll take them at their word. All right, okay, they do. Yeah.
I'd be more likely to believe, networks of caverns, because that shit kind of actually exists in places.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you say portals, I'm like, what? What's going on here? What does he keep the portal gun? Is it like wedged up his ass? Like, I don't know where he. Okay.
So did you have any experiences with the Boggy Creek guy?
No, I just heard all kinds of stuff about it. Went to the Monster Mart in Falk a few times. It's this big gas station with a Bigfoot like face as the entrance you can walk into.
Mm-hmm.
They have all kinds of memorabilia, Bigfoot stuff you can buy. I don't know. Did you ever hear of the Texarkana Moonlight Murders? The Phantom Killer town that dreaded sundown.
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, there's that movie, Town of Dread Sundown. There was an unsolved series of serial killer murders back in the 30s and 40s in Texarkana, Texas, and I grew up 30 minutes, so I got to hear all of that too as well from my grandfather. My grandfather liked to tell stories a lot, so I got to hear all this from him.
Oh, so it passed on. It's in your genes. You tell stories too. Look at that.
Yep.
Like that.
My grandfather also told me he was the tail gunner on a bread truck, so I'm not sure how it was
The tail gunner on a bread truck. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even know what that's supposed to look like. What? Is there even a gun on a bread truck? What are we talking about?
Well, see, and I'm trying to think if bread truck was a military term during World War II.
Yeah.
And I can't think of one.
I always just assumed that bread deliveries were very hardcore back in the day.
They were.
Could have been.
Any Cthulhu experiences? I just bring that up because I know you had a book called Cthulhu.
The Corporate Cthulhu.
Yeah, you been haunted by him?
No, I've never been haunted by him. Not a lot of ocean stories for someone who really I love to go to the ocean, but I've never had anything really happen there. My dad and I guess we were on a cruise once, and we like to troll people by shouting "whale" and watching everybody run over there.
Yeah.
Oh, what a dick move! That's funny.
That's fun to do, man. Just mess with them. I do that with dolphins too. Oh, I see a dolphin over there. No, I'm just messing with you guys.
I don't know. I don't really have a lot of creepy water stories for someone who is really, a lot of my stories involve water in some shape or form. Always found the ocean and lakes and rivers and stuff terrifying, but I also love them.
Right.
There was okay. So, y'all are from Texas. If you're out on the lake, you see people tubing behind a boat.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad one time was pulling me, and I was kneeboarding behind a boat, behind my dad's boat, and we passed a 15-foot alligator in the river, and I said, "You know what? I've decided."
Yeah.
Dude, I would not get in that water ever again.
Well, I only get in that water nowadays if it's Memorial Day or 4th of July. There's too many boats to worry about at that point.
Yeah. Man. But out of I guess folklore and urban legends, it's hard to get behind a real Cthulhu, I can't imagine a real Cthulhu existing. Right? It's
hard. I can imagine all sorts of deep sea monsters, megalodon and all that kind of crap. I can imagine bigger things in the ocean, but intelligent squid monster gods, I'd like to believe, but
I would like to believe too. But the problem is Japan would probably eat it. And if it'd probably be dead. And that's the problem. It might be smart, but the Japanese would probably get it. If it comes out of the water long enough, they're determined.
There's a whole film industry about doing away with those kind of things. So.
Yeah. Oh, man. But I hate to segue away from Catfish in the Cradle like that. I had another question lined up. But the feedback and the response. I'm looking at this. It's rated really well. You have 18 ratings, and it's 4.5. So what's the feedback like?
The feedback overall has been good from everybody that I've talked to. There's been a few bad reviews on Amazon. No one is going to like everything that you write, everything you do. There's always going to be someone who reads something and just it's not for them, and that's fine. But I honestly, the feedback that I got from it was much better than I expected, and it's very, very humbling to have happen. And but my wife, she always sits there, you're doing the Julius Caesar thing. You're only a man. Don't let it get to your ego.
Right.
I'm like, but it's so nice. But look at all the praise, dear. I'm going to do a line of praise off the mirror now.
But that's good, though. It's good to have someone in your life to help keep you grounded, Last thing you want to do is become an egomaniac and think you're the best thing ever because a lot of people give you praise. But praise is good. It's just sometimes we take too much of it or go too far with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
They always tell professional athletes, don't read your press clippings.
Oh, God, yeah.
Right?
You could tell an author not to read their reviews, and that's just, white noise. Everybody's going to read their reviews.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking at these reviews. I don't see I see the worst what I see is a 4-star. If that's a bad review, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
You're doing pretty good.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry.
I said I'm honestly excited for the next one. We've got 2 coming out in March. One that I co-wrote with Stephen Kosniewski, and a Western coming out from Jeff's Head, who published Catfish in the Cradle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a sequel?
No, they're not. They're not sequels. I do have ideas for sequels in the future,
Okay.
but I'm letting the water settle before we come back to them.
Okay, I thought maybe there'd be 2 babies this time, or something. No.
I had a lot unused. Yeah, Rosemary's grandbaby. This time it'll be well, I used a catfish. It'll be bass in the bassinet.
Okay, and I know you don't want to give much away, and I totally respect that. Now, is there a certain theme or something that you would like to say to kind of hook those who are listening right now to your book?
Yeah, sure. It's no secret. Stays buried, and what hooks you throw out there, be careful what you reel in.
Okay, I like that. No secret stays
Yeah.
buried. Yeah.
Yep.
That's true, man. That's true. Okay. Well, do you
Largemouth bassinet.
Bass in the bassinet.
So, do you have a paranormal experience?
Yeah. So years ago, my family, we would go skiing while I was in grade school, and up in Colorado, and we stayed in these cabins that were 11 miles from the nearest main road. They were out there in the middle of nowhere, no cell phone service, anything like that. And there were about 7 cabins, and we'd alternate staying in. They were all owned by the same person who we knew, and there was only one groundskeeper who lived up there, and I don't know how he lived up there alone with all the stuff that happened up there. So one day it started when we'd gotten back from skiing that day, and there was about 3 or 4 families, including mine there.
Yeah.
And there was a cabin about 50 yards from the cabin we were all staying in, and the kids, me included, we would go up to that cabin to shower while the adults showered and whatnot in the cabin we were staying in. And there were 2 guys that were with us who were out grilling on the front deck, and they could see the cabin we had gone to. And my dad was on a different section of the deck, but could also see the other cabin. And they said they saw 2 people, a man and a woman that we didn't know, in white shirts and jeans, walk right under them, walk to the cabin we were staying in, smile at them, and then go in. And then my dad, who had been looking at that cabin from the same direction, didn't see a thing at the same time. And so they came running over there, and they're like, "Have you seen anybody coming here?" I was like, "No, why?" And they're like, "Some people just walked into that door." I was like, "No, they didn't." And so then the groundskeeper was like, "Oh, so y'all have had an experience?" We're like, and me personally, I was like, "What do you mean we've had an experience? You're saying this has been happening? You didn't tell us about this?" And he was like, "Yeah, right." And he said, "Just people have been seeing them all over the place, but they don't do anything." And he was like, "You see that light over in that cabin over there?" And it was about a different cabin about 100 yards away. He's like, we're like, "Yeah." He's like, "I went and turned that off 5 minutes ago." So, and
but dressed in white, huh?
Yeah, and that was
that's really different.
Yeah, it was a common, people would stay up there and say they saw them, and when we were staying up there, doors would slam in the middle of the night, and then they had a dumb waiter that would activate for no reason, and all this other kind of stuff. But nothing ever happened to anybody. And my mom, she was not a big believer in such things, and she was like, "They're not ghosts. It's a pair of crazy people living in the woods." And I said, Yeah, that makes me feel better. Thanks.
I'd rather it be ghosts. Ghosts don't kill you in your sleep. At least I don't think. Right?
Right. These doors don't lock, and they're just people in short sleeve shirts in the middle of winter living in the woods, all crazy like. Yeah, that's such a better option.
Yeah,
Right?
let's go with that story.
And people that could like make themselves invisible to certain people, because like according to that story, you have like different people looking at the same place, but one person didn't see it. It's like, where are you going? It's like, what happened there? That's crazy. So either they could be ghosts, or maybe they're just like multiple dimensions. Be phasing in and out of reality.
We don't know. Just enough people saw that we believed something was happening up there. We did ghosts, something else. We started referring to as just it. It was like, did you see it? Yeah. Okay.
I gotta ask you, man. Have you been doing some?
So how
DMT?
many people saw it?
Say what?
Oh, go ahead and ask it.
How many people saw this phenomena?
Quite a bit. Like, or at least for us, 15 people had experiences somewhere or another, and that's not counting all the other guests who'd like come and gone, and so who had also had experiences and told the groundskeeper. And I don't know how he lived up there by himself.
And it's like the same people. I mean, or they're saying the same thing, like the people with
the
the white shirts.
and a woman wearing jeans and white shirts, white t-shirts.
Okay, jeans too. Like, so my thing with ghosts. Do ghosts wear clothes?
Jeans. Wait, jeans.
Yeah, they're putting on skinny jeans or jinkos.
Yeah, just jeans, like work jeans.
Oh, okay.
So that might be the most modern clothing I've ever heard in an apparition. You know, usually it's like 19th century shit.
Yeah, right. We were talking. I was like, well, they're obviously dead Old Navy models, so.
Well, you said there was a woman, right?
Yep, there was a woman and a man, and I saw.
Was she hot?
I saw the woman. No.
Oh, sorry.
Not from where I saw her. She was at the lawn. I saw her. She was at the. There was a basement, and I walked past the basement door in the middle of the night and glanced out the corner of my eye, and she was standing at the bottom of the landing, and she like looked up at me and then walked deeper into the dark, and I said, "Nope, not doing that," and closed the door and kept going.
Should have got some Coronas. Went down and be like, "Hey, you want to party?"
Right?
You're here creeping me out.
Down there. Fine.
Hey, baby, do you spook around here often?
Yeah. That sucks, man. If you're gonna have like a woman apparition or ghost or whatever, it's like, can it at least be kind of attractive? I mean, kind of, sort of. I mean, I don't know. It's,
a little bit.
Well,
yeah.
When you just get a glass of milk in the middle of the night, you don't have time for that.
Yeah. I guess not. Guess not.
Oh,
it's always a good time to flirt.
So
I went and plugged my iPod in after that and kept my eyes shut. I was like, because I'm going to open my eyes, just going to be standing right there, and I'm not going to do it.
Now, like, did it have some sort of lingering effect? Did it like haunt your dreams or anything?
Not any more than anything else in life. It's one of those things. We never heard anybody being hurt. Nothing ever. There was never anything aggressive. So it just never really affected anything besides just being in creepy stories.
So have they been in stories? Have you put them into stories?
Not well. There's one that I've submitted to a publisher, and I'm waiting to hear back on. And some of those, some things got added into that story.
Cool.
Oh, that's pretty
I mean, it seems like the kind of thing that would be hard to leave. Keep it just private. I mean, that's just good material, right?
Yeah, it's been a crazy life. The ghosts weren't nearly as interesting as it was my trip where I meant to go to Berlin, Germany, and ended up into Brno, the Czech Republic.
Well, what?
Oh! Oopsie!
How'd that happen? What happened there?
It was nothing creepy, just funny. Except I could like. It was just it's a long story that it ended, but didn't have anything creepy. It was just bad luck.
Bad luck.
You didn't stay in a hostel or anything, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Where people started disappearing from?
No, but the guy could only say passport and married.
You didn't wake up in a bathtub, did you?
I tried, but
Ice.
the bathtub was sticky, so I didn't go there.
Yeah, you don't want to be in a sticky bathtub. That's not a good sign. No.
No, but I got to sleep in a heart-shaped bed, so that was fun.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There's not a black light in that room, was there? Because
No, you don't want that.
I never checked. I actually had the flu at the time, so I was coughing my lungs out, and I was just
You had
like,
the flu,
"Dear
huh?
Lord, I just want to go back to Vienna."
How long ago was this?
It's been 8 years ago.
Okay.
Now.
Okay. So you're good.
Well,
Hey, you haven't been to China
they
recently,
probably
have you?
didn't have Mexican beer in the Czech Republic anyway.
No, probably not. Oh man.
Yeah.
So,
But
so I was gonna say, I take it that you do believe in ghosts, though, right? And like,
Yes,
have you tried like Ouija boards and stuff like that?
no, I've discovered that I'm actually on like the periphery of people who have way more intense encounters than I do, and I'm just the guy who's sitting there giving like smart aleck advice about it. Like, why would you do that?
Right.
But I had a friend in high school. She had a Ouija board. Said she tossed it in a lake. It came back. That kind of thing. I've never been one. I've been more of the. You know what? I've seen enough horror movies. No, not to do that.
Oh, you mean you didn't want to like set it on fire? I heard that if you set a Ouija board on fire, it brings bad luck.
Yeah, I heard it. It was like
Especially
burning.
if you do it indoors.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're
The
just
fire
after-
department comes, exorcism on your house
Yeah, right.
with the high pressure hose.
Mhm.
I always heard it was like It was like burning down a door or whatever. Like now it can come in willy nilly, and I was like, no thanks. I'm just gonna play Monopoly.
Oh, Monopoly's vicious too. Oh God, Ouija boards piss off ghosts. Monopoly game that pisses off your family and friends, man. That's,
So I'm just curious, at Milton Bradley's manufacturing facility, does one of the stations there inject the evil into the board before they shrink wrap it?
right.
And how does that work? Who gets that job?
Obviously, whatever demon the Satan's got on the payroll there or whatever.
So Jeff Bezos, huh? Is he tied to Satan? Because I ordered mine from Amazon, and I don't know.
My name's Belphegor, and I'm middle management for hell.
That's good. Yeah, man. I always wonder about that. There's some people who say Ouija boards work. There's people who say they don't. I think Tammy G says they do.
There was a meme I saw that I think described my opinions on that situation perfectly. It said, "I'm not sure if it does, but I'm not going to wait around to see if it does."
Right. Now, what about have you ever interacted with like a medium or someone who claimed that they can like communicate with the dead?
No, but my writing co-partner Stephen Kozlowski, he went. Our book that's coming out in March does a lot with ghosts, and he went to consult a medium to interview them, find out how it's done, that kind of stuff, so we could get the research right for the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did any bad spirits follow him home after that?
Only in alcohol form.
Now, one thing I noticed about your writing, by the way, not to shift gears, but so what is Southern horror exactly?
Oh, it's just a theme I have. The setting, character. Takes place in and around, just in what others would consider the South. It's Tennessee and lower, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, that kind of thing. Okay. It's the Joe Lansdale genre.
Okay, all right, and you kind of get that from the prose, I imagine, like the Like the way it reads.
Right. Just I always thought, I think the Southern Gothic is the official term for it, but, Kaz and I were doing the Clickers reboot for Jesus Gonzalez's, estate. And when we were talking about that, Kaz was like, I read Catfish in the Cradle, and even though we just finished Perfectly Fine House, I realized I was doing you a disservice by not having a Southern character of some sort in there. So one of our main characters for this is actually from Louisiana.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the term Southern horror. As a Southern guy myself, I hear that. I'm just like, all right, that sounds cool. That's a good vibe.
Is like the whole state of Louisiana haunted? Or is it just my impression?
The whole state of everywhere is haunted by something.
Well, geez, I feel left out. I never get to see any shit.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Apparently, my aunt had we had a dead relative in our family, and apparently that made like an apparition to her close relatives. I never saw anything. I said, you figured she'd come to me. I'm the one most likely to believe and interact.
And put her in a story. God damn, she could be famous. Shit.
Right.
Okay.
I
always wondered that too.
I don't know.
SK, he lived near a cemetery. Didn't see anything.
I did. I grew up next to a cemetery. One of my earliest memories is, playing in the dirt in the cemetery.
Wait,
some
what?
giant pile of dirt.
Okay, you weren't like digging up graves, were you?
All those ghosts were like, he's such a nice boy.
Well, then, yeah.
They're playing with you.
Yeah, I never saw anything. And believe me, I was looking.
I've always cemeteries are one of the safest places to hang out. No, it's not the bed you have to watch out for. My sister, like right before her engagement party, like my wife and I, we got there early, and I was like, well, I don't want to show up at their house early, so we just parked in a cemetery and took a nap in the car.
Hey, no one's gonna mess with you. No one's gonna mug you.
It's a great place to take girls on a date to scare them. In a good way.
In a good way, yeah. Have them where they like creepy and kind of cling on you for like protection, all that.
Right, that kind of stuff.
It's also kind of the appeal of horror movies,
Yeah, for some reason, all my high school dates did not begin with, "Hey, you want to go to the cemetery?"
No, God, of course you don't start with that. You got to work up to it.
You take them there. What you take them there, and what you give them like a long spill about your.
Then you tell them a ghost story in the cemetery.
Oh, yeah, okay. You take them there, and
then
why you take me here? Oh, I got to tell you about this story. You're probably not gonna believe me. It probably sounds crazy, but a long time ago, there was this guy. Yeah.
And that guy was me.
I know you read those paranormal romance books. Well, I'm your paranormal romance. Is that what we're doing here? Oh, shit. I don't think that would work. I don't know. Those chicks are crazy enough for that, though. Have you seen any recent horror movies?
What was the most recent one we saw? My memory's so bad. Those things, literally, it's just filled with like stories in progress, stories I've written, and everything else is left to the agenda.
Oh, I understand that.
I haven't. I don't know when the last time my wife and I watched one together, but I recently finished. I don't know if they're horror or not, but the third and fourth Purge movies.
Oh, I don't think I followed through with that series. Were they any good?
The first half of the third one and none of the fourth one.
Okay, well, that tells it right there.
That seems to be a typical trajectory for sequels.
Yeah.
Right.
Man.
I don't know. I've always said with the purge. I always said with the purge, if the purge was real, like at a former job I had, we were all talking about like, what if the purge was real? Who would you go be killing or whatever? And I said, I wouldn't go kill anybody. If all crime's legal, I'm going to file my taxes.
I lost $17 billion last year.
Right? Oh, man.
Pay me now. I said, I'm the reason the purge would fail. The whole movie is about, killing the poor secretly to cut down on costs for the government. Well, I just made all that back.
Right. It's legal. Oh, but that crime wouldn't be legal. That would I'll put it into that real fast. No, only killing is legal. You can't take our money. You can't take money from us.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Right after the first year, they're like, never mind.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with those movies, man, it's like, yeah, interesting concept, but I think they treat it too seriously. It's like, it could have been like a movie that comes to mind.
More like Zombieland.
Zombieland, yeah.
Like attitude-wise.
Yeah.
When the politics overtook the movie, it became less interesting to me. In a society where the purge is just accepted point of fact, that's more interesting than trying to make a statement. I'm all for like Get Out is such a great commentary on social issues or whatever. The purge, you're trying to just do escapism.
Right. Yeah, like you don't need to put politics into that at all. Like, just have a movie that's about people just killing everybody. And the thing is,
just call it Chicago.
Right? You didn't have to make a movie about that. You could just put some cameras up in Chicago. That's right. Or put some cameras up near the L.A. and San Francisco tent cities. Do that. You want to see some murders? There you go. Ugh, shit.
Yep.
Man, they treat it. I don't know, because there's movies that have done stuff like that, and they're pretty good. I mean, like, one that comes to mind is kind of like Battle Royale, but that's kind of different. That's kind of like a fight to the death sort of thing. But
well, the Schwarzenegger one, Running Man, right?
Oh, Running Man. Actually, I kind of like that.
Kind of like
the Belko experiment as well.
Yeah.
They're on the office building. Like, kill 50 of your coworkers, and the other 50 can live.
Oh, you know what? I've never seen that movie. Is it any good?
It's decently forgettable.
Oh, come on! That could have been so. That sounds like a good.
It can't
concept.
be so bad. You remember the plot.
I liked it. It's one of those movies that I enjoyed watching. I'll probably never watch it again, and I honestly forget the title sometimes. But like the movie itself is decent. It's just one of those things that, like, at the end it doesn't give you a real resolution. It does a sequel hook when it really shouldn't.
Right.
I mean, it could have just been Office Space with murder, and that would have been like that would have been fine.
Office Space almost was Office Space with murder.
Right. I'm going to kill my boss, and now I'm actually going to do it. And then
I could burn the whole place down.
I'm going to set the
with everyone in it.
Yes.
I always said The Office Space was one of the greatest movies of our time.
Oh man, it's
absolutely.
It's a great movie,
and it holds up.
Oh yeah, it does, man. If I want to watch a movie that helps me unwind, especially after a bad day, especially when I used to work at an office, that's it. That's it. But it motivates me. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying, I used to work at the airport here in Oklahoma City. I worked for a certain airline that is renowned for beating people out of their seats. And, yeah. And by the end of my time there, I really felt like the main character in Office Space. I don't like my job, so I'm not going to go anymore.
Right.
Oh man, because everybody wants to be that guy, right? I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
Right? Just to get in that mindset. And to actually pull that off and actually have it be successful. Because he tries not to go to work anymore, but he gets promoted up.
When I left, I took my portable Bluetooth speaker in with me, played "We're Not Gonna Take It," and walked out triumphant.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. And my boss went on a rant. Apparently, somebody texted me later and said, he's been married for like a week. What kind of man leaves the job with a new wife? Blah, 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 blah. And someone that behind him apparently screamed, someone who's tired of all the bull crap.
Right. You can find another job.
One of the things I have taught my daughters since they were old enough to understand jobs is that there are few things more motivating in life than a shitty job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And believe me, many creative people have fed off of the bullshit of a shitty job to further their work.
Right? Because every day it's like, man, I'm trying to get out of here. What can I do? This story or just this creative project.
3,000 words. 3,000 more words, man.
This is going to be it, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Jesse, you were talking about Angel Followed earlier.
Yeah.
I just got a message from, Death's Head Press or wherever, because there were whispers going around about a potential sequel anthology called Angel Remained. And I'm giving them some encouragement now that I want it to happen.
Sweet, go ahead, because I don't know if they paid attention to their Amazon stuff. I'm sure they have. I'm sure they do. They can see more than I can. They can see like the back end. It looks like it's doing well still. It'd be silly not to do a sequel. And they can even have just the same roster. Maybe include others. Who knows?
So Patrick, if you're listening, yes, I do want that to happen. I would love to do a Hell Remained.
That'd be great. And Hell Remained. I love that cover. I love that. I don't know it's on the screen.
Yeah, Don Noble.
It looks like an old book. It's all wrinkled and stuff. I like that.
He did the cover for Catfish in the Cradle as well.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, that's a good.
Good covers. Mm-hmm. Really good covers.
Don does good work.
Dang it, we can't have him on for Bad Covers Day.
No, we can't. Oh, which, by the way, we need to bring that segment back. We need to do something with that. Bad covers, because I've been seeing some horrible covers, man. And need to put them on blast. Encourage people to make better covers. Be that guy.
People say don't judge a book by its cover and all that, but that's so untrue. That's the biggest load of crap.
That is exactly what we do.
Mm-hmm. Everyone does that.
If I look at Genericus book cover, no, thank you. It could have the greatest. It could have the greatest.
Go ahead.
It could have the greatest description on the back, and that might, if it has a great description, it might get me to buy it, but that's still only 50% of the way.
You know what's interesting about that? I could remember some traditionally published books that had weird covers, like bland covers you wouldn't think would be good at all. Like just a generic face. Like, what is this? I'm thinking of some Anne Rice books right now. I'm thinking that, and also for American Psycho, that cover's like, what's this cover? What's this? And sometimes it's just a house, like a roof of a house. Like, what is this? Like, anyone could just slap that together. But it's.
I'm thinking of putting out something that's a white cover with a black font, like a Arial font kind of thing, and the title is just going to be book.
Well, they actually might sell. Based on with the trends, that actually might, just for the lulz, just for laughs.
Yeah.
I honestly feel sorry for the fantasy genre because every fantasy cover looks the same.
Oh man.
Well,
yeah.
but there's something to that though, because there are expectations. That's part of the reason. I have a lot of Facebook friends that are romance authors, and their shit looks interchangeable to me.
Right. Yeah, the script font. You have
Right.
You have things that are
Some muscly guy with no shirt and shit like that.
super oily.
Yeah.
In the fantasy novels, you have what's the trend now? I think in post-apocalyptic thrillers, swords. You always have swords. You have like a female protagonist. Horses. Yeah. We had someone on the show before that talked about how when you make a good cover, it's not really like making one that's like you do kind of want to meet their expectations. Like, oh, okay, I'm expecting this, so you want to meet that, but you do want it to be good at the same time. So if it works for them, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of cases where people have tried to be, break with the traditions of a genre, and the market just beats the shit out of them.
Mm-hmm. Now we have it kind of made for us in horror, though horror is a smaller market, and But a lot of other horror publishers, not naming any names, other horror books, like the title's unreadable, so you can't even read the title. So it's like, okay,
that's no good.
Who's behind that? But by the way, you don't have that problem. Your books are clearly readable. You can clearly read it. It's very vivid what it is, so don't worry about that.
Very well executed covers.
Mm-hmm.
That's something we'll appreciate.
I hope so. Damn it! I hope so.
Yeah,
it's working for you.
It's an art to itself.
Mm-hmm.
People think they can just grab some stock image and throw some words on it, and they're bing, that's a cover. And technically, that's true. That doesn't mean it's a good cover.
Right.
That actually, there was a writer friend of mine that I'm not going to name on air because of this, but
that's fine.
His book had a house on it that was like, okay, interesting cover. And later, I was doing research for something else, and I typed in on Google generic house, and it was the exact same house.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I remember when I was about 12 or so, and I was first reading adult level books, and my oldest brother had a bunch of sci-fi, and and I'd look at these covers with these crazy ass art on them, spaceships and chicks with big boobs hanging out of their bras and shit like that. And I'm going, man, I want to read this story.
Right.
You get to the end and go, there is nothing in this book that has to do with this cover. Nothing.
Right. That's worse.
Okay. Violence and large-breasted women, and I leave disappointed.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, we're just doing an hour show now, guys. We're trying to keep it good. Hey, Wile E. Young. It's great having you on the show. Anything you want to plug before you go? Before we wrap up?
Absolutely. The two are my two coming in March. The Magpie Coffin from Death's Head Press. It is a splatter western, like a Quentin Tarantino type western, extraordinarily violent, but yeehaw with blood kind of thing. And my other one, which I co-wrote with Stephen Kosniewski, which is called The Perfectly Fine House. It takes place in a world where everywhere is haunted. Literally every building, every park, everywhere has ghosts, and someone finds a house that isn't haunted, and it gets worse.
Weird.
Awesome.
Oh, that's interesting. That has my interest there. Okay.
That was coming from Grindhouse Press at the end of March.
Okay, wow. Check that one out. All right, I'm going to wrap this up here. We'll wrap it up. Now, Technically, there's going to be another show tomorrow morning. SK's not going to be there. It's just be me because it's super early in the morning, like way too early. But the reason I'm doing that is because Villamy Miss, she lives in Iceland, so that's why I'm doing it that way. Because time zones.
You got an Icelandic chick coming on?
Do you want to? It's 4:00 in the morning. You want to do it?
Jesus, no.
No.
I don't know. How good looking is she? And is she single?
Well, hey, it's she's pretty good.
Because the flights from Seattle to Iceland are pretty reasonable.
I don't know, man. I think she's been to China, so be careful. Villamy Miss in Damascus will be there. I think Damascus has a quiz for us, another vampire quiz, and I think I might win this one. We'll see.
No, you won't.
Probably not. Probably not. Anyway.
Just like the answer is always Dracula.
Yeah, I'll go with that. All right.
With Damascus's quiz.
No,
not when he writes the questions.
He pulls some stuff that you're not going to be expecting. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this. Press the like button, share, and subscribe. I will see y'all tomorrow morning. All right, you have a good one.
Bye.